Something's been quietly changing in the world of home decor. And I'm not just talking about moving away from the millennial gray minimal style to the Ralph Lauren Christmas homebody theme. No, this is something more interesting. This is Interest Decor.
Art in the home slowly became design. In the Victorian era, artworks were self-contained. Now, people buy pictures because they match the curtains. In expensive homes, you'll often see large abstract works where the curve in the line of a large minimalist work might mirror the curve of the staircase.
We've been taught that our homes have to be a curated one that is pristine all the time, one that is lackluster and boring. Our homes are a reflection of us. It's not just about aesthetics. If it looks good, yeah, duh, it has to look good. I'm a very visual person and I like things to look good. But it doesn't mean you can't hang up a poster of a movie or an anime that you like or a video game that you like just because it's not aesthetically pleasing to the general public.
In the Victorian era, houses were built with picture rails as standard. Original artworks hung flexibly without damaging plaster. Walls were richly decorated. Most of those pictures were originals. So the art on those walls was often made by amateurs or hobbyists. People often knew the artist, or they knew the place, or they had painted it themselves. Each image was a small window into our direct and unique lived experience, a history of that household. And then came television. The post-war living room became arranged around a screen, and later computers and smartphones would dominate visual attention. Static art in the home became secondary. It became a decorative idea, not a focal point.
And another way to think about this is something that I don't think I've heard anyone else say, but for me, I want my space to be an ever-evolving art exhibition where it's a ever-changing space of interest, hobbies that change with me. The experience you have when you're at an art exhibition is you walk in and you see something you haven't seen before. And you ask yourself, I wonder why the artist chose to do that. And usually they have a little blurb of why they chose to do something. But the great thing is when someone enters your space, your art exhibition, they get to ask you why you chose to do that, why you chose to hang that light that way, why you chose to hang that poster in a weird, off-putting way. And you get to give your answer.
Original art was never trying to be good design. What it did was carry a thread between the maker and the viewer. We forget that art is a bridge between human hearts, if you will. However humble, however jarring they may be with the pattern on the cushions, I'd rather see someone's blurry amateur watercolor of a favorite place in their hallway than I would the world's most polished painter or professional photographer shooting that same scene. Because that amateur who I am talking to, whose home I am stood in, holds a memory. People know this deep down, but they are embarrassed, worried what others will think if they were to put that up.
That doesn't mean hoarding. We collect things as we grow and evolve in this lifetime. It's just the natural progression. But there are canvases that I've painted over constantly, and there's a really cool idea that you can take, but if you have a very generic canvas and you want like an interesting piece, ask an artist that you know to create a custom art piece for you and paint over that. Obviously, you would pay them, but that way you have something that's meaningful to you. And it's kind of a timestamp of the moment where you knew this one person. And we all come across different people in our lifetime. And it gives you a really personal piece to display that not everyone is going to have. Something else I've been focusing on is the development of DIY projects. I used to be embarrassed to attempt a DIY project. I didn't want to look stupid, especially if I posted it online for people to judge. But I'm not embarrassed anymore because anything with imperfections is beautiful art. And being in this new Interest Decor era, I'm putting my art, I'm putting my DIY projects, I'm putting whatever I want anywhere in my apartment. I have an image of a UFO above my refrigerator. I just had this idea, and I want to see. We're never going to use these cabinets. And I was trying to figure out where to put this print I have. And I'm always trying to encourage making parts of your house that you don't enjoy, those cabinets you don't use, that pillar in the middle of your room, or whatever else feature that you don't like, making it a statement by, instead of trying to hide it, just make it more grand. All right. I have small tiles I've thrifted that I just love because I love tiles. I think that's the Mexican part of me. I have them here on my windowsill. Windowsill. I have one right here, and I have broken Legos on my dining table. I might leave them broken because that's just an interesting story. I can tell people that when we moved into this apartment, I was so careful to place these Legos on the side so that they wouldn't break. But right as I got them to my car, they broke. And we have been so lazy and have not rebuilt these Lego models. So we have a Lego graveyard on our dining table, basically.
I feel like homes should be full of things that are personal, not just full of functional items. And this is why the half-painted prints in that store in Homebase are the most disturbing of all. The human heart has re-entered in the worst possible way, not through any kind of mutual connection or creativity, but through industrial, near-slavery shackles, so that someone can sit beneath one and feel connected more to the artist because it's more like a painting. But people don't think that way. They think that their home must seem nice and pleasant to the eye and anyone else's eye, not make them feel like they're at home. You feel at home with people who are not perfect, but you want to sit in a perfect room.
This is Serena's space. This is Serena's little corner. And it's pretty blank right now, but you can't tell. There's like this really very abstract DIY thing hanging above me that's out of frame. I'll show you in another video, but I have that. And then I have this tile I told you about earlier, and it has a bird on it, and I positioned it so the bird looks like it's flying into that thing that I made up here. So there's a story there. And you want to know what my boyfriend told me when he saw it? He said, as long as it makes you happy. Well, you know what, Ben? Yes, it does. Interest Decor is about evolving as a person. It's about seeing your space and knowing that it's whatever you want it to be. It creates connections, or quite the opposite. The people run out the door and don't speak to you ever again because they didn't realize you were into that shit. I don't know what it is. You do you. But the point is, I'm getting off track. The point is, it creates conversations instead of someone entering a space where they just saw a million of them online. It's now your own interests that are defining the decisions that you make. And I think the people who are going to really resonate with this video are going to be those who are just at a certain point in their life where they're past that desire or need to fit in. And they kind of want to break away from that. They're tired of just following everyone else, and you want to be who you want to be. And that's exactly where I'm at. And it just comes with aging, I think. It just comes with life and being at a certain point in your life where you come to that realization that you can do whatever you want.